Chocolates.
Brought to you by Eco Alkalines, environmentally responsible batteries, cat5.tv/eco.
We're joined tonight by Kevin Richards. He's the Belgian master chocolatier from Theobroma. And Kevin, it's great to have you here on the show.
Thank you for the invitation. This is a big honor to be a part of this. This is really fascinating.
It's a neat place, eh?
It's amazing.
Lots of fun.
I love the sign. Congratulations on that. That's very cool.
Cheers. Yeah, the sign was donated this week. So
I've gotten quite the techie education over the last few days since you and I have met.
Yeah.
Checking out your website. You've got some pretty amazing guests as well, too. You've got a pretty good history.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
I wanted to have you on the show and kind of talk a little bit about, obviously Valentine's Day is coming up. So people are saying, well, what's this is a tech show. We've got chocolate coming on. Well, guys, ladies, leave the room because the guys need to hear me right now. So give me just a second. Guys, Valentine's Day is coming up. We've got an opportunity to get you here some very, very fine chocolate for the ladies.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to get in their good books, this is what you need to do. You need to listen up. We're going to have a little chat here, Kevin and I.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a little taste test. Sasha's going to be our guinea pig. We're going to see how much the ladies are going to love this. And we can possibly send out some chocolates as well.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Just in time for Valentine's Day. All right,
big day. Cha-ching.
Call the ladies back in. Yeah. So, Theobroma is your company.
It is.
And you are a Belgian master chocolatier, which
that's correct.
I'm no chocolate guru.
Okay.
But I mean, I've heard the phrase, and that to me that's a prestigious.
It is a pretty big deal. There's very few of them. You have to go through an actual chocolatier certification to actually graduate from that, which I graduated with honors from that course, and then was allowed to then go to the next level, where I studied in Aalst in Belgium and spent a week in Aalst with other grandmaster chocolatiers, and it was just absolutely amazing the things we learned, how to do sculptures and how to make pralines, and it was pretty impressive. Cool. It was a lot of chocolate.
Yeah.
Still didn't get chocolated out.
Yeah, no, there's
Never.
no such thing. No such thing. What kind of makes your chocolates different? I mean, I've tasted them. I know it's exceptional stuff. It's unlike anything that you've ever had before.
Okay.
What is it about your chocolate that really makes that happen? Is that working for you?
It is working for me.
Yeah.
The funny thing is when people say chocolate is Belgian, it's actually processed in Belgium. There's French chocolate, there's Swiss chocolate. None of the cocoa ever really originates in Belgium. So it actually will start in either the Amazon rainforest, where I get my chocolate, which is where the 0.1% of the world's finest actually originates. Then there's the Ivory Coast, which is now producing about 80% of the world's cocoa. And that cocoa, I don't know if you've ever had maybe a Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee and tried to compare it to maybe a Kenyan roast. An African sort of coffee is very similar to an African cocoa. It's very bitter, it's very strong, it almost tastes burnt. It's got a very bark sort of taste, whereas something from South America is far more floral, fruity, nutty. It's far more complex. You can see it in the beans and the pods. Those are Venezuelan cocoa beans. That's actually a cacao pod and cacao beans. Inside that pod, you'll find about 20 to 30 of those beans. They actually then go to, my cocoa doesn't go to Belgium, it actually goes to France. Mostly because Belgium is now processing mostly West African cocoa. So some of the bigger name companies, as well as some of the people who only make brownies and cupcakes, are using the same cocoa. So to say you're a Belgian chocolatier, I'm using Belgian technique that I learned there.
Right.
But I didn't bring any of the Belgian chocolate home with me. I actually choose a finer chocolate that gets processed for me in France, and then sent back to me as what's called a Calais, or as a cocoa powder.
Very nice. And I understand that everything, correct me if I'm mistaken, but everything is done by hand.
Everything I'm doing is completely by hand. Even the only thing that's not by hand is the melting of the chocolate. That's in the tempering pot there. But I do hand make everything. I hand make my own caramel. It's my own recipes. Everything I do is right from scratch. It's been my own invention, and I dip it all by hand, all created by me.
And that makes me think about what's different about the taste of the chocolate. Where do you get your recipes, and where does that kind of...
It took me almost 6 months to actually get my caramel recipe where I wanted it. When I first started making caramel, my fiance is a chocolate junkie. I'd like to call her a chocolate junkie. More of a caramel junkie. Yeah, I've got a treadmill sitting in front of the chocolate area where she's trying things. So when she tried my first couple batches of caramel, she would say it's too salty, it's too this, it's too that. And then I've tried to educate her a bit on her palate and saying something might seem salty or something might seem sweet. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like that chocolate. It makes me thirsty. It's too salty.
Oh.
Well, if you're saying it's salty, that's great. A lot of people say it's the sugar. It's not the sugar. It is the salt. It's the butter a lot of the time in some of the fats or some of the things that you make like caramel that actually make you thirsty.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a real process to getting your palate to do what you want. I do an Inniskillen Cabernet Franc ice wine truffle, and I actually tasted over 40 different brands of ice wine to narrow it down to the ice wine that I chose for the perfect pairing, because some of them were just too fruity, more of a melon, more of a floral taste, and I had to really narrow it down. A lot of time.
Sounds fantastic.
It was real
sounds
hell.
to me like it's a bit of, there's a bit of a almost a chemistry involved, and I've seen your setup, and it's very much, it feels, it's pristine, but very much like you've meticulously planned out each recipe. Well,
when I was in Belgium, one of the places we went to, this guy named Chef Vart, who is considered the world's most sensitive palate when it comes to chocolate, he said that he went to a place in Ethiopia to go and check out certain spices. And one of the spices he was checking out there, I forget which one it was, but he had said that there was over 400 different variances of this one spice. And he tried them all to narrow it down to the one he uses in his truffle. So,
and he can actually discern.
He actually could. And it's funny because we went through a tasting test with him where we were tasting different things, and he had about 50 different kinds of cinnamon. Wow. And I was like, okay, cinnamon really? There's one cinnamon, the cinnamon you stir in your apple cider. Like, what else is there? Yeah. And we got to really expand on it, and some of it tastes more like bacon than it did cinnamon. Like, it didn't even taste like cinnamon.
Bring on the bacon spice.
Chocolate dipped bacon is really good too, by the way. But
bring it on. Sounds good. So I mentioned that I'd like to talk a little bit about the technology and the technique. Sure. Now, you are making all these truffles and chocolates by hand.
Yep.
But there are some intriguing ways that you're using almost consumer-like technologies in order to take things to the next level. I think about the way that you're doing designs and things. Yep. If you could let us know a little bit about that, about the process. You shared a little bit about it with me, and I was a little surprised that there's a technology behind how you're doing it. Yeah.
Well, even simple things like printing. One of the things I've managed to really get my grasp on has been doing things for different marketing, different sort of levels for things, as opposed to just social media and trying to promote it that way.
Sure.
It's been a very big deal for corporate people and weddings to get, an image. And definitely people are working on their brand.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've been able to do is to actually have a cocoa butter transfer that I now print through a little Epson or a bubble jet printer. And we actually print onto a transfer sheet. And on that transfer sheet, you can use an edible, well, some people use an edible ink like they do on birthday cakes. You've seen people put somebody's face on a birthday cake, for example. That's an edible ink. It's a vegetable-based ink. Mine is actually made with a cocoa butter. We've got 6 different colors, and it goes through a little Epson printer. So I could do a full-color printer picture of anybody's corporate logo, whether it was Facebook or Category 5, and put it onto a truffle. If somebody's getting married, I could put Kevin and Janine around it. I could do
You could print my head onto a perfectly round truffle.
I could make your head perfectly round, just like that. I would shine it up and make sure we shine it up. It'd be beautiful.
Sounds great. So these are actually printer cartridges that are going into a printer that are printing using cocoa butter instead of ink.
Yeah, and it doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't have, because cocoa butter is very, very tasteless. It's not like a regular cocoa. It's not going to have a strong hint of anything. It's just very... And it's not going to be invasive in any way with the rest of the truffle, so it's not going to affect the character or the taste of the truffle.
Sure, yeah. You were mentioning how sometimes garnishes and things like white chocolate garnishes it can throw off the
people
taste
making
of
their
the
truffles trying to be pretty, and that's one of the things that just makes me crazy. Is my truffles don't necessarily look the prettiest. They've got a nice shine. They've gone through what we call tempering, which is kind of the most overused word in the chocolate world. It's actually got to do with crystallization. But when it goes through the tempering, people will then all of a sudden decorate their pretty truffle with white chocolate. So you've made this beautiful dark chocolate creation, paired it perfectly with a nice ice wine.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you decorate it with what? You've got white chocolate in there and milk chocolate. Well, didn't you just spend that amount of time pairing it to taste great? And now the first thing you taste is throwing it off.
Right.
It's like people who put the salt of a chocolate for my caramel, for example. I do a wonderful caramel and sea salt truffle. Well, my sea salt is on the inside, on the bottom, so it's the last thing that you taste. So it doesn't. So it balances it off, right? It's got a nice finish. You put the sea salt on the outside, like some people do as a decoration.
Right.
Well, it's the first thing you taste. However, I'm doing a truffle that'll come out not this year, but next year for Cinco de Mayo, which has actually got Jose Cuervo Gold mixed with a milk chocolate center with a small piece of lime in the center, dipped in dark chocolate with a little bit of salt on the outside. And the reason for that is lick, shoot, suck. So you've got your salt, chocolate with the tequila, and then the lime all one after another. Cinco de Mayo.
Sounds like a tough job.
Yeah.
Real tough job.
Yeah, small amounts of the alcohol.
But loads and loads of chocolates, folks.
Lots of chocolate, because it's good for you.
So we want to be able to get our viewers a pack of these chocolates. These are Theobroma fine gourmet chocolate truffles. I mean, just awesome stuff. What do you have available right now? Right now, I'll give you a quick rundown of some of my favorite ones. My favorite is always going to be my Inniskillen Cabernet Franc ice wine. I just love that. It's wonderful. It's got a nice finish. My fiancée, Janine, just loves her caramel and sea salt. It's all day long. It's her favorite. My kids love my organic peanut butter truffle, which is... it's what peanut butter is supposed to taste like. It's a real peanut butter. It's not like that processed sort of plasticky, peanutty commercial chocolate. It's a wonderful peanut butter, and we make our own peanut butter and we mix it up with the proper oil. So it's a wonderful, nice finish on that. My newest creation that I've really had a lot of fun with is my my root beer and vanilla, where we actually extract the root beer from a sarsaparilla root and combine it with Madagascar vanilla that we extract from Madagascar vanilla. So you're getting that root beer taste from the root. It tastes like a root beer truffle, or like a root beer flow with chocolate. But completely non-synthetic. Completely real. Do you use preservatives in your truffles? Zero, and that's why the shelf life on my chocolates... I haven't really been able to test it as long as I'd like, because I've never had chocolate sit on a shelf for more than a few days. So we actually had to make a couple of pots of chocolate and put them aside in little bowls and put them all away and say, okay, we're going to try this one every Friday, and we're going to come back and keep trying it. Right. There was zero discoloration and zero fade in flavor in any of the chocolates until almost the 2-month mark. So we've been pretty lucky. Wow, very good. Yeah. cat5.tv/yum. Head on over there, cat5.tv/yum. Check them out. That's Theobroma chocolates, and we're actually going to be giving away a box of these chocolates. So anywhere you are, make sure here's what you need to do. So I'm taste vision. That's what we have to do. Because I want you to try this, folks. But I mean, get on there. Make sure you order them before Valentine's Day. Get them in time. What I want you to do is get onto that website, cat5.tv/yum, and on the website is the definition, or at least the reason that you chose the word Theobroma for your company. So, and am I saying that right? Is it you are saying it perfectly. Theobroma. Fantastic. You know, nice. Excellent. So find out what Theobroma means according to that website at cat5.tv/yum, and email me live@category5.tv. We're going to give them a week to get those in, so that those of you who are watching this after the fact, if you're watching on FirstRun.tv or if you're watching on Miro Internet TV or YouTube, you still have a chance to participate in the contest as well if you weren't watching live. So get that to me. We're going to have a draw during episode number 282, and we'll be sending you out that box of chocolates. My compliments. Let's take a look at the box itself. Perfect. Now, I saw you even package these things up by hand. I do. Well, you actually got that up on your screen, which is great, so I don't have to show it off. The boxes I actually had designed, and I couldn't believe how quickly we managed to put this box together. When I first started looking at the packaging end of it, it was a pain, because I had the exact image in my head of what I wanted. I had contacted a place in the United States. They told me I could have the box for about $6 a box. Yikes. And I was like, $6 to make me a box? I go, hell, am I going to have that as a markup on my chocolate? That's almost as much as the chocolate was. Contacted a place in Canada, which, you know what, I want to shop local. I want to buy local. As best you can. It was just a little over $8 finished to my door per box for a 4-pack of chocolates. Yikes. Contacted a place in China. I sent them a sketch. And then I had all the AI format and everything else of the actual artwork that I had my cousin actually do for me. I drew it all up, and he did it. He nailed it. Sent it off to them. He told them where to hit it with the lacquer and blah, blah, blah with the shine. And 3 to 6 weeks later, somewhere around there, I had the box in my hands, finished. It was exactly what I wanted, exactly to the perfect. They look fantastic. I mean, that's beautiful. And they knew to do food safe ink. There was no technical anything. They just sent it back. The only thing I ever added was the website to the back of the box. And that was it. Very good. That's lovely. And the chocolates are made right here in Barrie, Ontario. Right inside there this is a 4-pack of the ice wine chocolates. Inside here you get a little insert of where the chocolate comes from and how to eat it. I just realized that you're like a magician there.
Do you like that?
You dropped one, and he just...
it's
okay. I got another one here. Can you pull out a bird?
Wait, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Yeah. Well, we need to try these.
Yep.
I think we've got time before the news. What do you think, Sasha? Is that... Sasha's pretty all right with that. So what do you recommend that Sasha...
Well, they're all the same in these boxes right now. I didn't bring any of the other fancier ones today.
It's a good way to...
I am in my milk chocolate production today.
Okay. You're going to have to...
Yeah. Oops. All right.
There we go.
So, Sasha, this is what we're going to do. There is...
She's begging you for this chocolate right now.
Beg me. So here's what we're going to do. This is the ice wine truffle. So you can unwrap it. To really appreciate a truffle, you should take a look at it. Actually, undress the truffle here. Smell the truffle. You can actually taste it through your nose. You can actually get a chocolate hint into your mouth just through your nose if you do it properly. Hopefully you're not congested. You then throw the whole truffle into your mouth.
The ice wine will help with that.
Yeah.
By the way.
The difference between a truffle and something like a praline, the North American version, the praline is they're layered.
Yeah.
So you can bite those because they're going to have the layers going this way. A truffle, for example, you create what's called a ganache. So you mix a heavy milk chocolate, something such as maybe a 40 or 45% milk chocolate. Then you mix it with what's called creme fraiche, which is about a 40% cream. And then you add in all the ice wine and whatever else together. Right. So it's a combination. If you do something like caramel and sea salt, you could bite the first half and only have caramel. And the second half, you might only get salt. And you've thrown off the whole truffle. So you have to put the whole thing in your mouth. You can chew it. Chat
room has just mentioned that Sasha actually did that wrong. She needs to try again. So... We're gonna work on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat room.
All the other viewers are going, she needs to do that again.
Try again.
And type my name.
Well, it is such a pleasure having you here, Kevin. Again, cat5.tv/yum is where you want to go. Check it out, okay? And make sure that you let them know that you heard of them here at Category 5 TV as well when you order. And don't forget to cast your ballot. Send me an email live at category5.tv. What does it mean? Theobroma.
You got it.
Kevin, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Cheers.
Category 5 TV is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. Thanks for watching.